The UAE Central Bank just licensed a government-backed stablecoin, Dirham pegged, fully regulated, running on a chain called ADI, which just pulled in $50 million from Abu Dhabi's own sovereign wealth fund. On the surface, that sounds like just another national digital currency story. But before you scroll past this might actually be one of the most bullish signals you'll see for Zebec all year. And Zebec isn't even the one that launched it. Let's break this down. For decades, moving a dirham, a dollar, or a euro across borders meant routing through correspondent banks, batch settlement windows, and multi-day clearing. Slow, expensive, built for a world where real-time meant end of day. Now a sovereign central bank is saying the quiet part out loud: fiat, as it currently moves, isn't fast enough anymore. So they're doing what every incumbent eventually does when faced with disruptive technology. They don't fight it, they absorb it. Morning light over the financial district isn't just scenery. It's a reminder that money moves people, businesses, and entire cities. The UAE licensing a regulated, dirham-pegged stablecoin signals a mindset shift from end-of-day accounting to always-on value. Watch the flags and foot traffic. This is what real adoption looks like. The question isn't if digital cash becomes routine, it's which rails will carry it at national scale. Here's what most coverage of this story is missing. The announcement of a dirham-backed stablecoin is a landmark event, a crucial first step. But it only solves the what currency you hold. It says nothing about the how that currency actually moves, settles, and gets put to work in the real economy once it's issued. This distinction is everything. You can tokenize the dirham, but if you're still using the old financial plumbing, you're just putting a sports car on a dirt road. You still need new rails underneath it. Imagine a construction worker in Dubai or a freelance developer in the Abu Dhabi global market. They shouldn't have to wait for a lump sum payment once a month. They need something that streams that value continuously, per second, directly to their digital wallet. This isn't just a convenience, it's a revolution in cash flow for workers, contractors, and vendors, eliminating the delays and inefficiencies of batch-based payroll and invoicing. That's not a currency problem, that's an infrastructure problem. The world's payment systems were built for an analog era of paper ledgers and end-of-day settlement. We're talking about trillions of dollars in daily transaction volume globally, still bottlenecked by systems that are decades old. The cost of this friction in lost time, locked up capital, and operational overhead is immense. To truly unlock the potential of a digital currency at a sovereign scale, you need a foundational layer built for the digital age. And that is exactly the layer Zebec has spent years building. It's programmable, continuous, and designed for the real-time economy. This isn't just another application. It's the core infrastructure that makes programmable money not just possible, but practical and powerful for everyone. It's the missing piece of the puzzle for any nation serious about leading the future of finance. To understand Zebec's potential here, we first need to clarify what it is and what it isn't. Because in a space crowded with new tokens and blockchains, it's easy to misinterpret a fundamental infrastructure play as just another competitor in an already saturated market. Zebec is not a stablecoin. It's not trying to compete with the dirham-pegged DRAM, Circle's USDC, or EURC. It sidesteps that entire battle for currency dominance. Instead of being another coin, it's the set of rails that any digital currency can run on. Zebec is the programmable settlement layer that any of those stablecoins can stream through. Think of it as upgrading from the world of static, lump-sum bank transfers to a world of continuous, per-second cash flows. For a government entity like the UAE, this means public sector payroll can be streamed directly to employees, second by second. For a multinational corporation, cross-border remittances become frictionless, arriving in a worker's wallet back home instantly without the typical delays and intermediary fees. Short answer: Zebec doesn't care which stablecoin you use. It cares about how that value moves once it's issued. It's currency-agnostic infrastructure. That's the fundamental shift. A native, programmable, real-time settlement layer sitting underneath whatever currency, fiat-backed, or crypto-native, the world decides to tokenize next. This isn't just a product, it's core financial plumbing for the digital age. Consider the scale. The global remittance market alone is projected to exceed $800 billion. Capturing even a fraction of that flow by offering a superior settlement method represents a monumental opportunity. Zebec isn't just building an app. It's building the equivalent of a global financial utility, like a SWIFT or Fedwire for the tokenized economy. By providing the foundational layer for real-time value transfer, Zebec positions itself to become indispensable. It's a bet that the future of money isn't about a single winning currency, but about how all currencies move. That is the core of the bull case for Zebec at a sovereign scale. Now here's where things get interesting, because this isn't just another crypto project. A licensed, Dirham-backed stablecoin sitting on a chain that just raised $50 million from a sovereign fund means one thing. The UAE is signaling it wants tokenized money to move through its economy at scale. This isn't a tentative experiment. This is a calculated move from one of the world's most ambitious financial hubs, a place that builds indoor ski slopes in the desert. When they decide to integrate digital currency into their national framework, it's a declaration. They are building the financial infrastructure for the next century, and they're doing it on-chain. But sovereign-backed money, even with state approval, is just a digital token sitting in a wallet until it can move. To be truly useful for the lifeblood of an economy, payroll, remittances, and enterprise settlement, it needs a specialized circulatory system. Think about the UAE's massive expatriate workforce. For them, the ability to stream their earnings directly to their families back home, second by second, without waiting for a weekly paycheck and then paying exorbitant fees, is revolutionary. That's the real-world utility that unlocks the full potential of tokenized money. And that streaming infrastructure, Zebec already has it live and battle-tested. This isn't a white paper or a future promise. It's real-time payroll streaming already running on Stellar, already integrated with major stablecoins like USDC and EURC, and already processing significant enterprise volume. Zebec built the pipes before most people even realized they would be needed. While others were focused on creating new forms of money, Zebec focused on the harder problem: how to make that money move continuously and efficiently. So think about it. The market is pricing in the stablecoin and maybe the chain it's built on, but it's completely missing the crucial third layer. Every time a government like the UAE legitimizes tokenized money, it doesn't shrink Zebec's addressable market by creating a competitor. It dramatically grows the pool of currencies that will eventually need a streaming rail to become useful. A government-backed stablecoin isn't the end game. It's the starting pistol. It creates a massive state-sanctioned pool of liquidity that is, by default, incompatible with the legacy batch-based financial system. That stamp of approval is a signal that billions, if not trillions of dollars are about to enter the digital asset space, all looking for efficient ways to be deployed. And when that money needs to move not just daily, but by the minute or by the second, there's an existing proven infrastructure ready to handle the flow. That's the signal nobody is pricing in. This is the most critical point about Zebec's strategy. A government launching its own stablecoin isn't competition for Zebec. It's validation of the entire thesis Zebec has been building toward. That the future of money isn't just about which asset backs a token. It's about who owns the pipes that money flows through. Sovereign nations are now doing what Circle and Ripple have already done, building the currency. Zebec built the rails underneath it, years before this became a headline. Legacy banking stitched together batch files, intermediaries, and waiting rooms. Useful once, but brittle under real-time demand. Streaming settlement flips that model. Funds don't idle. They flow, auditable, programmable, and precise to the second. When money behaves like data, payroll, remittance, and treasury, Stop lagging behind operations. That contrast, static versus streaming, is the inflection every sovereign will need to cross. So why does a government-backed stablecoin that has nothing to do with Zebec directly actually strengthen Zebec's position? Because it proves the underlying behavior shift Zebec was built for is now happening at the sovereign level, not just the startup level. When central banks start moving in this direction, the infrastructure layer beneath them becomes more valuable, not less. And Zebec is already positioned there, with 65,000 workers on real payroll rails, enterprise integrations on Stellar, and multi-chain reach that most single-country stablecoin projects don't have. City lights turning on feel like a network booting up. Stablecoins are the power source. Programmable rails distribute that power with minimal loss. As more jurisdictions green-light tokenized cash, the value migrates to the infrastructure that keeps it moving safely and continuously. Zebec's bet is simple: own the cadence of money. If nations choose on-chain finance, real-time rails become the default setting. Dubai just proved that even sovereign nations are racing toward programmable, real-time money. Zebec was already building the layer that makes that money move. And in crypto, the biggest opportunities usually look confusing right before they make sense. Drop a comment. Are we watching sovereign rails or worker rails win the next phase of programmable money? Subscribe if you want the next signal before it hits the headlines. Hold the skyline for a moment. Sovereign adoption is accelerating, and programmable settlement is the quiet utility making it usable. Watch policy, partners, and throughput, not headlines. If you're early to rails, every new currency becomes flow to capture. Thanks for riding along. More signals soon. Stay sharp and stay streaming.